The moonlight was like smoke, bringing tears to my eyes. Grab some tissues, and listen closely. I got sick and had to be hospitalized. My girlfriend, Sarah, took care of me completely. The old man in the next bed kept asking when we were going to get married. I just smiled and shook my head, saying nothing. No one knew that. Last night, when Sarah forgot to lock her phone while getting me some water, I saw she was texting someone named Kyle. He's her duo partner in a game. The day I was discharged from the hospital was the day the biggest snowstorm hit the city. Sarah took off her scarf and wrapped it around me. She laughed at me, saying I looked like a snowman. I opened my mouth, tears welling up. She took my hand, looked up at me, and asked what was wrong. I looked into her starry eyes, completely unable to understand why she could betray me and still be so gentle. On Sarah's social media, it's all about me. She remembers what I like to eat, what I like to use. Last month, she went skiing in Aspen with her friends. Because work kept me from going, she called me for half an hour, reminding me to be careful. Her friends teased her, saying she only had eyes for me. It turns out, she is a hardcore lover. But this is the same person who, in the game interface, paired up with a guy I don't even know. Today is day 147. I wanted lobster. Wanted spicy crab. Wanted all the spicy foods. Sarah kept trying to soothe me and made me porridge. I sat at the table, watching her bustling around the kitchen. Suddenly, I asked her, Sarah, since you play games, can you teach me how to play? She paused slightly, then smiled and ruffled my hair. Sure. Since when did you like playing games? Truthfully, I knew nothing about games. The controllers just annoyed me. More importantly, it seemed like Sarah was only using a secondary account to play with me. The first game we lost, I threw the phone on the couch. She wasn't angry, and just started another game. After we finished eating, she hugged me on the couch, her breath near my ear, her soft hair mixed with the scent of her body wash. I subconsciously pushed her away again. She looked at me surprised, then rubbed my stomach. Go to bed early, okay? The next day, I didn't wake Sarah up and went to work myself. She sent me 2 messages at lunch. Since you just got out of the hospital, don't eat anything cold. I ordered you some abalone congee. Eat it, okay? You seemed unhappy yesterday, huh? Let's go see a movie after work. I turned off my phone, feeling a pain in my stomach. Sarah finished her class right on time today and asked, should I pick you up? I didn't say anything, just quietly followed her to the movie theater. The movie was boring. And halfway through, Sarah's phone kept ringing. In the middle of the movie, she suddenly said she had something urgent to take care of. I nodded in agreement. After the movie, I went home first. But she probably didn't expect that. I secretly followed her out of the theater. Luckily, she was just walking. If she had driven, I definitely wouldn't have been able to keep up. The destination wasn't far, just the nearby hospital. Sarah stood out in the crowd, easy to spot, when a guy ran out of the clinic and hugged her. I saw it clearly. Sarah let him hug her, her hands still in her pockets. No response, no pulling away. I got home later than Sarah. She was sitting at the table, tilting her head and looking at me. I didn't intend to explain anything to her. As I walked past her, she grabbed my wrist. Why have you been so unhappy lately? She kissed me from behind my ear, down my neck. But thinking about that guy who had just hugged her, I suddenly shivered and pushed her away. Go take a shower. I avoided her. And she didn't suspect anything. Ruffle my hair when you go. Sarah rarely let her guard down. Her phone was still unlocked. This time, I checked her texting app. Yesterday, she used that account to play games with me. But that was clearly her secondary account. After searching for a while, I found that she had hidden another texting app on another page. That account was pretty empty. Only a few contacts, including some of her close friends. The first pinned message was from someone named Kyle. Just as I was looking, Kyle sent a message. My stomach hurts so much, I can't take it anymore. When are you going to break up with that guy? I scrolled up to see. They had been talking for so long. So much that it felt like they had talked for 3 days. More than Sarah and I had talked in a month. A month ago, when I went skiing in Aspen with my friends, Sarah couldn't go because of work. She called me for half an hour, reminding me to be careful. That day was also Kyle's birthday. She and he went to that dog cafe we used to go to. Someone took a picture of them. The guy was holding a dog, and Sarah was looking at him with a gentle expression. I felt my hands and feet turning cold. Sarah had been talking to him a lot. She was even being clingy with him, saying she was tired from work. She played games with him and called him a noob. Even when she put a new plant in the office, she took a picture and sent it to him. She told me about all the extra shifts she worked. But they were almost all dates with that guy. The more I read, the more my stomach hurt. I'd had surgery for gastroenteritis, and it seemed like it was coming back. Even worse, because I was so focused on reading, I didn't notice that the water had stopped running. The bathroom door opened behind me. What's wrong? Does your stomach still hurt? Do you need to go to the hospital? She lifted me up from behind, the fragrant scent of her body wash filling my nose. Her warm hands pressed on my stomach, and it felt like it was easing my pain a little. I lowered my eyes, looking at her phone lying on the table, the screen showing the last message Sarah sent to that guy. I haven't had any feelings for him for a long time. The one I like is you. My dad always liked to feed me all kinds of food since I was a kid. So I had a habit. When I felt uncomfortable, I would eat a lot. Especially during the stressful time in high school. My weight increased by more than 60 pounds. Most young people are very concerned about their appearance in their teens. And I was no exception. But whenever I was stressed, I would eat a lot. Back then, the boys in my class had a strange but harmonious friendship. I was often ostracized by them because of my size. The uniforms were large. I couldn't keep up in gym class. And no one wanted to play with me. Except for Sarah. I met her in 10th grade when we were student representatives for the new students. She was the female representative, and I was the male representative. But compared to my only highlight, my speech, she shone like the brightest sunlight. Good at studying, beautiful, many friends. Guys liked her like a flood. But I was in the same tutoring class as her. And our similar grades were always compared by the teachers. Gradually, we got to know each other. I know there were some girls in the class who liked to gossip behind my back, saying I was fat, saying no one would dare to marry me, and then laugh, saying all kinds of awful things. But Sarah never looked at me with that disgusted look. When did I start liking Sarah? Probably one day in tutoring class. She wore a backpack on one shoulder, sat next to me. The summer breeze blended into the air. She smiled brightly, her eyes curved. Her smile was really pure. Just saw the grades. You're 1 point higher than me again. You're so good. Let me borrow your brain. Sarah didn't know that I had secretly looked at her grade sheet when registering for colleges. I calculated for a long time when I got home. Secretly made so many wishes. Finally, we both got into the same university. At the graduation party, a boy confessed his feelings to her. The boy was very rich. Also very handsome. I sat in the crowd, quietly listening to everyone teasing. At that time, I really thought that Sarah would agree to him. But no. She politely refused. When the party was about to end, I sat alone in the corner of the room. I have lived alone for a long time. I don't like to socialize. I have a habit of hiding myself. But she can always find me. That night, Sarah sat next to me, resting her chin in her hand. Her eyes slightly squinted. I knew she was looking at me, but I didn't dare to look at her. After a while, her gentle and soft voice sounded in my ear. I like you. Do you want to give it a try? After we got together, I asked Sarah why she liked a fat person like me. She smiled. Then she hugged me. But in my eyes, you're always cute. Sarah is a very special person. She doesn't have much sense of morality. There are always so many different ideas in her head. So she will betray me. But I'm not surprised either. After getting together, I lost weight, gradually learned how to dress, enhanced my communication skills in the college club. Also began to realize that I was actually very popular. Some freshmen who didn't know anything confessed to me. I refused. I always thought that loyalty is the most important thing in a relationship. But Sarah obviously doesn't think so. In the middle of the night, when I finished the last piece of cake in the refrigerator, I bit the fork. Sure enough, I can't get rid of the habit of overeating. But it seems that I haven't gained weight in a long time. The weight even shows signs of decreasing. I didn't care. I just thought it was thanks to the benefits of the surgery. I still remember the messages I read last night. I sighed. Sarah hasn't come home yet tonight. I called her. She answered almost immediately. Where are you? I asked her. She replied. Just got off work. I'm coming home soon. Do you miss me? Her voice was a little hoarse. If I hadn't confirmed with her colleagues in advance that they didn't have a shift tonight, I would have believed her lies. She must have made him angry last night. So she had to lie to me tonight that she was working extra shifts to coax him? Sarah. I'm coming to find you. Maybe it's because the way I spoke didn't have the right emotion. She was silent for a long time. Then there was a bit of laughter in her voice. She reported a location nearby. Finally, she reminded me. It's cold outside. Wear more clothes and be careful. The university where Sarah teaches is near my house. It's just a walk away. At night, the streets are empty. Only near the school can you see a little light. Sarah stood at the corner of the night market waiting for me. She put her hands in the pockets of her windbreaker. She is always so outstanding. Thinking about it now, she is not a person with a stable personality. I had prepared the words I wanted to say in my head. Walking towards her, she unexpectedly hugged me. Her eyebrows furrowed. Are you unhappy? Sarah. Do you know why I'm unhappy? Blinding light flickered before my eyes. Misty smoke wrapped around each other. Everything in my head was disrupted in an instant. Is life a series of movies? And no one knows when there will be surprises. And what will happen? When the fire burst, Sarah called my name. I remember that day very clearly. I came to find her. To say goodbye. I remember that day very clearly. She lied to me that she was working extra shifts because she wanted to coax that guy named Kyle. Sarah said. She hasn't had any feelings for me for a long time. When the out-of-control truck rushed towards us, she subconsciously pushed me away. Red blood spilled everywhere. Pain like a knife cutting into my eyes. I almost went crazy, running to see her wounds. She smiled again, reached out and ruffled my hair. I'm okay. It's good as long as you're okay. Sarah, can you tell me? Is it really that hard to love only one person? Sarah's injuries were more serious than I thought. That's right. It was so big. How could she be okay the next morning? When she wakes up? She went to the intensive care unit, sleeping for 2 or 3 days. During that time, I finally opened her phone. It's really convenient to unlock it with a fingerprint. I couldn't stop myself, I kept flipping through the messages. Every sentence she said to him. Every tenderness she gave him. At night. Like a knife cutting into my heart. During the days when Sarah was in a coma. That guy also sent her a lot of messages. There's a beautiful flower shop downstairs. Professor Sarah. Do you have class this afternoon? Let's go see a movie. Hello. Why don't you reply to the message? Are you okay, Sarah? Is something wrong? I'm going to find you at school. I can't find you. Are you okay? Sarah. You can't. Be so silent. I lay on the hospital bed. Flipping back and forth. Reading those messages. He also kept sending messages. Looking back and forth. I rushed to the bathroom and vomited violently. Sarah, you really are. He loves you to death. Every day, the nurse came to check me and said my complexion was very bad. So she suggested that I do a comprehensive health check. When I took the medical report out, I saw a boy standing in front of Sarah's ward. It's so strange. Sometimes, the sixth sense is really accurate. I tried to call his name tentatively. The boy turned around. His eyes were like a clear puddle. There aren't many places to talk near the hospital. But we still found a ramen shop. It was about 3 or 4 in the afternoon, there weren't many customers. He dejectedly stirred the noodles in front of him. You know that Sarah's boyfriend is me, right? I asked him. He just shrugged. Of course, but you know. In love. There's no such thing as coming first or last. He gave an unfriendly smile. Besides, you guys aren't married. You're definitely challenging me. You two are really a good match. I lowered my eyes. My stomach burned like it was on fire. He smiled again. Smiling comfortably. So interesting that I knew all the cards in his hand. So you know, why don't you just let Sarah go to me? Or will you go crazy? Crazy men like you look really ugly. Don't do things that demean yourself. The light of victory flickered in his eyes. He probably thought he was about to win. Maybe he thought it was right. The information from the test report I just received flashed through my head. I stood up, bowed my head and said softly. Wait for Sarah to wake up. Tell her. I'm not her boyfriend anymore. You are the one she chose. Kyle probably didn't expect me to agree so easily. Coincidentally, when we came back, the doctor reported that Sarah had woken up. The boy almost rushed out immediately, hurrying to her hospital bed. And Sarah, who is so smart. She must have realized everything when she saw me and Kyle in the same place. Through him. She and I looked at each other silently. She always looks at others with a kind of indescribable emotion. Even now. As if there was only me in her eyes. Small lights fell into the gaps in the floor. I took a deep breath. And finished saying the words I didn't have time to say to her that day. Sarah. Let's break up. It was a very long silence. Sure enough, she didn't have any surprised expression. Just suddenly smiled. Before I had an accident, I should have deleted everything on my phone. Sarah, she is such a person. In the past, I would definitely go crazy. I would rush to ask her why. I would throw everything I could at her. I would grab Kyle's hair and pull him away. But now, the words have been said. I just quietly turn my back. She calmly asked me from behind. We broke up. Could we ever be friends after this? I shook my head and pushed open the door of the hospital room, walking out. Sarah didn't know. I had nothing left to wait for. On the fourth day of Sarah's hospitalization, she woke up after 6 hours and 20 minutes after meeting with Kyle. I received my test results. At first, I thought I could eat a few pastries without gaining weight, because I was always someone who lost weight easily. I also thought it was a consequence of the surgery, which was why I often felt stomach pains. But the doctor said I didn't look well and suggested I get a full body checkup. When I walked out, holding the test results, I saw a guy standing outside Sarah's hospital room. It was strange. Sometimes the sixth sense is really accurate. Apparently, I only had a few months left. I should be admitted to the hospital immediately, contact my family, and quickly decide whether to have surgery or radiation therapy. I must have been standing there dazed for too long. The doctor sighed and patted me lightly on the shoulder. You don't need to worry too much. Our hospital specializes in this field, and we have quite a few successful cases. I sat on a long chair in the hospital hallway all morning. Why didn't the previous surgery detect the problem in my body? Why now? Why me? Hadn't I already faced enough troubles? Why was the sky taking away my right to live? The doctor asked if I had any family. Actually, my dad had passed away a year after I graduated from college. As for my relatives, they fought and fractured our family relationships because they were greedy for my dad's assets. During my post-graduation years, I was always with Sarah. Sarah was right. People's feelings eventually run out, which was why she didn't like me anymore. We were together for too long. Maybe to the point where we no longer knew what love was. Were we even still in love? People hurried back and forth in the hospital hallway. But for me, wasn't the time I had left here already a luxury? I hadn't thought of my dad in a long time. But at this moment, his face seemed to appear right in front of me. Take me with you. Take me with you. Please? I suddenly started crying loudly in the hospital hallway. A guy standing nearby couldn't stand it and handed me a tissue. He patted my shoulder and gently comforted me. Son, it's okay. Don't cry anymore. I have a daughter too. When we argued, she swallowed some poison pills. Now I regret it. I feel that I shouldn't have been so impulsive about many things before. Look. Everyone is suffering. So you must cherish the person next to you. He probably thought I was a relative of some patient. I clutched the report tightly in my hand. Who did I have by my side now? I suddenly remembered a day when Sarah and I had discussed who would die first. I said I would go before her. She said okay, and gently touched my forehead. I'm yours. Before you die, I will always stand by your side. I vaguely walked down the hospital stairs, heading toward her room. It was ridiculous. Even then, even though she had betrayed me, I still subconsciously wanted to see if she had woken up. Wanted to ask her which treatment option I should choose. But that day, I stood at the corner of the stairs, seeing that guy standing in front of her room. I knew clearly. Sarah was no longer mine. She had given up on me long ago. As the last leaf of autumn fell, Sarah broke up with Kyle. This probably wasn't important to her. But Kyle seemed a little panicked. She lowered her eyes and pulled out the contacts that hadn't dared to text her yet. Car horns sounded from outside the street. She looked up at the bustling night market, suddenly remembering 2 years ago, when she had pulled the guy next to her, helping him avoid an accident. Thinking about it, that guy had left her 2 years ago. Sarah had never doubted that she loved him. In fact, when she loved him, her feelings had never been so intense. So after the breakup, the longing lasted. Sarah used to hate him. But then she couldn't forget him. In the end, she still broke up with Kyle. She knew this was really difficult, very difficult. But she still wanted to try to find a way to get back with him. How had he been living these past few years? Was his stomach still bothering him? Did he still not like to eat breakfast? Did he have a habit of walking barefoot on the cold floor? She always unconsciously thought of him. In every quiet night, looking at Kyle, her head was just thinking about him. She was always someone who followed her own instincts, felt that she still loved him. So she wanted to find a way to get back together. The first thing she thought of was using his phone number to add him to her contacts. But he still didn't accept her request. His avatar and name had also changed. When they broke up, the guy had blocked everything about her, leaving resolutely. And she remembered clearly what she had said to him that day. She asked if they could still be friends. He shook his head. So the road back might be very difficult. But she didn't think she would definitely fail. Because she knew clearly he was someone with an incurable soft heart. To be honest, maybe because the guy came from a single-parent family, he was easy to control. As long as you treated him gently, he would feel that she was the only one for him. Smile at him once. He would think she was a good person. She hadn't received a reply from that guy yet. She started looking for him through other relationships. It seemed like he had left the city. Strangely, she had so many contacts, but she couldn't hear any news about him. Finally, she struggled to contact one of his old friends. But that person scolded her. And then blocked her. Let you live the rest of your life in regret. You bad girl. She raised her eyebrows, feeling that wasn't the case. As long as there was a chance to meet him again, she would have a way to get back together. She understood him too well. Knew what he liked. Knew how to make him happy. Many things had gone deep into her bones, which was why she could remember him for so long. She didn't believe that he would forget her, forget completely. That day, at a cocktail party, some old friends from high school came to her school to do a survey. After drinking 3 glasses of wine, they inevitably mentioned the past. She wasn't good at drinking. So at this moment she just rested her hand on her forehead, listening to them boasting with boredom. But when she heard his name, she suddenly looked up. Do you still remember that old friend? It's a pity. So young and... Yes, last year I even attended his funeral. Probably stomach cancer. So pitiful. It is said that his parents are also gone. Died when they were too young. Death. Stomach cancer. Funeral. These words. It was as if she had never heard them in her life. She suddenly stood up. All eyes were on her. She felt her mind buzzing. Maybe it was because she drank too much wine. She must have misheard, right? It must be the same name. He couldn't possibly not be alive. How could it be? Had he died? He had passed away a year ago. She would never see him again. She can't find him. What does death mean? Is it that you will never see each other again? She frantically searched for everything related to him. She wanted to prove he was still alive. Want to prove that someone was lying to her. She wanted to prove it was all a joke. She wanted to prove they were just joking with him. But no. She found an address and a tomb. The wind howled in gusts. High mountains, distant waters. The old man is gone. When she turned back to search in surprise, there was no time to say sorry. Memories rushed back, as if all unrelated emotions at this moment were magnified. She knelt in front of his grave, from dawn to dusk. But it was ash that was blown away. She would never be able to find forgiveness, because no one was listening to her complaints. She didn't even have the right to know that he was long gone. Wasn't she also abandoned by him? She began to lock herself in the house, drinking a bottle of beer every day. Only when the drunkenness made her mind numb could she see him. The guy was sitting in front of her, resting his chin on his hand and rubbing her head. You are really a strange person. At first, you were the one who changed your mind. Why are you crying like this now? After that, she fell. Perhaps only by being with terrible people could she feel that she had a little bit of a chance to atone. She was called out to drink every day, but she wasn't good at drinking. One day she was drunk again. Looked in the mirror in the bathroom. She looked at it for a long time. Then she punched the mirror hard. Blood flowed down her hand. Her palm was numb. The image in the mirror shattered into millions of pieces. She trembled and said, "Why? Why is it like this? Sarah, why can't you love a person with all your heart? Why did you lose him? Why did you think that you could always find him again?" Later, she realized that it wasn't that she didn't love, but that there were some loves that were so deep in the bones. So it was easy to let go, but it was hard to breathe when lost. She suddenly picked up the shards of glass on the ground, then looked in the mirror. Made a big cut on her face. Blood immediately ran down her cheek. Even her bad friends were frightened and took her to the hospital. Someone was sitting next to her. Pushed her shoulder. Not happy? Go find some joy. She began to mix with the crowd in bars. Even though the scar on her face had healed, it still attracted men. A man stroked her cheek and said, "I like your look with a story." After that, men and alcohol almost became her lifestyle. There were some things she had tried to forget, but could not be forgotten. She only did things to not think about them. So, people began to rumor that the men she had been with looked alike. Some had the same personality. Some had the same appearance. She missed him madly. But one day, all those images came like a burst dike. Everyone looked like him. But it wasn't him. She saw a face that looked like his. Suddenly felt nauseous. Ran into the bathroom, vomiting uncontrollably. When Kyle found Sarah, she was locked in her house, drinking. She opened the door. The smell of alcohol hit him in the face. She looked at him from bottom to top, then closed the door again. He blocked the door with his hand. "If I don't find you, how long will you continue to live like this?" Kyle folded his arms and asked her. But it cannot be denied. A person like her. Even debauchery exudes a "don't come near me" vibe. Sarah raised her eyebrows. Smiled. "Don't you have anything else to say?" "Don't have anything to say?" "Sarah, you have been with me for 2 years. How long have you been with that man? You changed because of him like that, so what am I?" The girl looked at him. Silent for a moment. Then her voice was full of disgust. "Come in." Kyle saw immediately. The place where Sarah was living was the place she used to live with that man. Everything was the same. Only beer cans were scattered all over the table. "Kyle, do you know why I befriended you in the game that day?" Sarah said in a very low voice. Like a hazy ghost. Maybe she herself had already forgotten the nickname I registered for him. In the first game was also Kyle Kyle. That day I argued with him, calling you Kyle Kyle. It's the same as calling him. At that time, my enthusiasm for him had waned. You and I are like a completely new person. So I found you more interesting than him. Kyle's eyes widened, listening to her analyze their relationship with unbelievable coldness. Finally, he couldn't control himself. Took the beer can next to him and threw it at her. I am really a beast. Kyle suddenly remembered the first time he met that man. When he showed his anger. Then was confused, so pitiful. But now he just wanted to go crazy. He had been a substitute for him for the past 3 years. So who is this Sarah looking at through herself? Is it that terrible name? Then what about him? The answer was too clear. He had thought that he had won so much compared to that man. But in the end, who will have the last laugh? A death. When he saw the emotions of the man in front of him starting to lose control, Sarah coughed. Stood up to see the guest off. He was pushed out the door by her. Finally, only the scolding, crying and the crying echoed from behind the door. She looked at her eyes in the mirror. Today is an important day. She didn't want anyone to bother her. On Christmas Eve, the streets were filled with joy. Perhaps this was the first time in half a month that Sarah had gone out. She took a shower, dressed neatly, and went to the street. December 24th. She confessed her love to him on this day. The street scene at night, neon lights. In the city that never sleeps. Everyone seems to be dating. She was holding flowers in her hand, walking on the street. Suddenly bumped into someone. Sister. I give you this bouquet of flowers. If you have someone you like, you must have the courage to confess your love. A little girl gave her a large bouquet of flowers. Probably an activity from the shopping mall. Randomly select people on the road. Encourage them to confess their love. Sarah took the bouquet of flowers. Suddenly felt flustered. It would be great if he were here. Then boundless guilt surged in her heart. Sister. Can you sell me this bouquet of flowers? A female voice interrupted her. It was a lively girl. Her hair was slightly curly. Easy to make others feel good. I made my boyfriend angry. I want to buy flowers to make up with him. But you know, it is difficult to buy flowers during this holiday. Probably a couple in love. Sarah blankly handed the flowers back. She didn't want to take the money. But the girl stuffed a red bill into her hand. Thanked and quickly left. Sarah stood there. She had also bought flowers for him. When arranging the new house, she also stuffed a bunch of roses in the refrigerator. At that time, it seemed like she loved him very much. Loved him so much that she couldn't bear to do anything that would hurt him. Sarah felt like she was going crazy with memories. If she didn't do those things. If she didn't betray him. If she was always by his side. Could they have spent the last Christmas together? Sarah felt like she was having problems with alcohol addiction. She felt like she was depressed. She went to a bar again, just kept drinking and drinking. She was not able to drink. She would vomit after drinking too much. But when she was drunk, she imagined him. For example, at this time, a guy who looked exactly like him walked in front of her. She crazily rushed up to meet him. But when she got to the street, in the vast sea of people, she couldn't find his figure. She's drunk again. Just hallucinating. But this time, it seemed like she had offended someone she shouldn't have. She didn't pay attention when she was walking on the street. A woman pulled her up. She was almost pushed against the wall. Then a group of people dragged her into a small alley. Outside, the joyful laughter. Could not hear the violence inside. Do you have money? Give me some money. The person searched in her bag. But only found a ring. Only when she saw the ring. Sarah stared blankly. She wanted to get the ring back. But she was teased and pulled up. That ring was bought together by her and him. Was the only thing she could find related to him. She couldn't get the ring back. Tried to struggle and mumbled some curse words. Then many people rushed in to punch, kick feet. They were just some drunk people who were venting. Sarah hunched over. Finally found the ring. Discovered that it was just an iron ring and could not be sold. It was thrown to the ground like a discarded item. She picked up the ring, put it in her chest, as if hugging a precious treasure. She didn't know how long it had been. But finally they stopped. In fact, she felt pain all over her body. Feeling like she was about to die. Even so, she smiled. Winter is really cold. If I just lie here. Could she open her eyes again? The float parade. With noisy laughter. Sarah didn't know. If she opened her eyes. Looking towards the opposite block. There was a girl. Was holding the bouquet of flowers she sold to her, walking towards a boy. That boy. Has the eyes and appearance. That she always remembers. Guess where I bought this bouquet of flowers? Sarah. Probably his ex-girlfriend. She also came here. I think she still loves him. But maybe she thinks he's dead. She looks so bad. The boy gently stroked the petals in his hand. Did not care, just shrugged. Actually, my friend wanted to tease her. Then the whole group of friends joined in to deceive her. I live abroad now. In the end, they even made me a tombstone. To prove I was dead. It's so ridiculous. I'm not dead. I'm still living well. At first, the doctor said it would be difficult for me to survive. I'm afraid they will curse me to death. But anyway. Sarah has nothing to do with me anymore. People must know how to look forward. Actually, after overcoming the illness, she doesn't seem to be important to me anymore. The boy leaned forward. Raised the bouquet of flowers high. Thank you. The flowers are really beautiful. 9 o'clock at night. The clock strikes 12. Snow lightly falling in the space. Sparkling starlight. Bright neon lights. Bells ringing. And the new year comes again.